Now, I love season-long fantasy, but I do also love DFS, and I also do love best ball drafts. Really, personally, for me, I love doing them when I'm doing my cardio at the gym every day. I'm one of those cardio drafters, but for me personally, I'm trying to get out there and get my guys and have a good time and actually make stances on players I believe in. I'm not one of those people that just goes 8% across the board. I mean, geez, you might as well walk into the casino and put $100 on red and $100 on black. Good luck with that one, buddy. So that's pretty much what I believe these 8%ers are doing. Well, I actually make choices on who I'm drafting. I don't just auto draft my teams. So I actually have very high percentages of some players. I'm going to tell you exactly why I have such high percentages of these players. Now let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to show you all 5 of them up front, and then I'm going to talk about exactly why I have these high percentages. Look up at the top right there, Isaac Guerendo. Now, a lot of people are high on him this year, mainly because of what happened to Christian McCaffrey last year. Sure, he's saying he's perfectly healthy this year. Is he really? Is he really? They were saying, oh, his injury last year is going to be fine. It's just soreness. He comes out, plays a game or two or a half a game or something, out for the rest of the season. Jordan Mason absolutely won people championships, and on FanDuel and on DraftKings and on best balls and stuff, really getting a ton of points for people. Best ball, he was a huge hit later in the draft, and I think Guerendo could be the same thing. Even if Christian McCaffrey doesn't get hurt, why would they not at least split carries, even though in the past they never have? If Shanahan was smart, they would. Look at these freaking metrics coming out of college. This guy is right up at the top. You can't get any higher. 99, 100, 98 between the 40-yard dash, speed score, burst score. It's absolutely crazy. So this little tiny running back who's super fast, oh my God. This guy's 6 foot, 221, and he's like one of the fastest people in the league. Craziest burst score. Speed scores, a 40-yard dash is almost a 4.33 at 6 foot 221. He's a great age for a running back to really absolutely destroy. He's not so young that he's coming in and learning things. He's been in the league for some time, a little bit here to learn. He's got man size on him. So really he is kind of set up to at least expand his workload, I feel anyways. And if anything happens to Christian McCaffrey, this guy is going to win people a ton of money. He did play in a couple of games last year where he was the starter and played the whole time. So he ended up with 15 receptions. It's okay. 421 rushing yards on 84 carries. Not too bad. Had 4 touchdowns. Some of them were huge. And he actually, if I remember correctly, they were winning, and he slid down just before the end zone like twice last year. So if we take a look at game logs, I know the white mode probably blowing out your eyes right here, but here's a Dallas game where he got 60% of the carries. So he had 14 carries right there. Between the routes and stuff, he had 100 yards and a touchdown. That's great. That's great. A little towards the end of the season here, he had 15 carries, 16 carries. You see the percentages right here. 128 yards, 75, 99. That's not too bad. I mean, this is 20 touches for 75 yards. That's kind of like the low end of what you can expect. But here's 26-point game, 2 touchdowns. He had some really, really great games. So Isaac Guerendo, I'm getting this guy all the time. Some of it has to do with how far in the draft down he is too, because you take a few higher running backs and then you wait, and you take some explosive chances later in the draft on guys, and that's why a few other people are on the list as well. So since you could get him pretty late, he has moved up. He is getting hyped up because everyone remembers how crazy it was when Christian McCaffrey was just, what? He's out for the season? Thanks a lot, San Francisco. So a lot of people remember that. It could happen again. He could just straight up split carries and just be right into your flex spot or something like that. So Isaac Guerendo, I'm getting a ton of. Next up right here, Juwan Johnson. Now, the unfortunate thing about Juwan Johnson, I was taking him all the time in like the last round or second to the last round. He still is going there actually in the last round or second to the last round. But that's because, let's see if we got it under the news and media right here. He's starting off on the wrong foot. He has an injury. He's actually getting a surgery on his foot. I did not know this. But still, even with it being a last round pick, you're never going to be drafting Juwan Johnson really unless he's your third tight end on Underdog. And at that point, you can go ahead and, if you went, I don't know, if you went something along the lines of Hawkinson, and then you got Brendan Strange, and then you got Isaiah Likely at the end. If you miss a game or two at the start of the season, you're going to be fine. This guy, they gave him, it's not under here, there's going to be more articles farther down. They gave him, I think it was a $33 million contract with like half of it guaranteed or something like that. So they're paying him. He's one of the higher paid tight ends in the league. I'm not going to say the highest, but really the amount of money they gave him, they kind of have to use him pretty solid age right here for, a tight end, having the experience and stuff. He's 29 years old. Tight ends, Kelsey's like 37, so he's not that old there. For a tight end, pretty quick. This is coming out of college a few years back, of course, but 93rd percentile, so pretty fast for a tight end. Good 6'4", 230 size as well. Now, he hasn't, I will admit, I've wanted to go after him in some other, seasons and stuff like that, but he hasn't fully put it together. He did have 507 here, just averaging 8 points a game. He kind of had injuries derail him here and there. He's played quite a few seasons, but it's always kind of the same situation. Another injury, another injury, another injury. But we'll take a look at the game logs for last year. And he has usable weeks, but 8, 7, never that great. This is 19, 20. He had a few down here. The number 3 overall tight end. You could see touchdown. No, that's not. I'm looking at the wrong one, but it's saying, pretty much that's how it works for tight ends. If you get a touchdown, you're a top 10 tight end. If you don't get a touchdown, you're not. But there are a few down here, 12 and 13 towards the end of the season when they started. Here he's got 10 targets, 7 targets for 6 catches, 60, 80 yards, and he's right at the brink there. So, and we're talking about a last round pick. Now, I can understand either passing him up now. He's got this foot injury. He might miss some time. But a big part of the reason why I got so much of him is being a last round flyer. What are the wide receivers down there? They're going to get 1 or 2 catches a game or something like that. Maybe you're picking somebody who you hope might end up playing. At that point, you might as well take Juwan Johnson, or this is what I was thinking before the injury. Maybe he could catch a touchdown and slide into your flex or be your tight end once in a while. Even with the injury, I'm still occasionally taking him in the final round, but maybe I lost a little bit of conviction, we'll call it, after the foot surgery and whatnot. And they don't know if he's necessarily going to be ready for the season, might miss some games. Up next here, Jaylen Wright. This is a very similar situation to Isaac Guerendo up at the top. Now, he is fast as all get out, much like Isaac Guerendo right here. 98th percentile, 96, 94 for the 40 speed score and burst score. So once again, drafting one of the fastest people, kind of in a similar vein to Devon Achane, who he is quote unquote backing up. But you got to remember for this team, Devon Achane was splitting carries with Raheem Mostert for a season or something like that. First he came in, didn't get a ton of play, and then he was splitting carries. Well, Mostert's gone. Achane, it's dinged up here and there. He's not the largest running back, but once again, right here, Jaylen Wright, 5'11", so almost 6 foot, 210. Very similar size, very similar speed to Isaac Guerendo. You can see what I like to look for in football players for best ball type of thing. You got in his 20s, he's still a pretty young guy here, but the size, great size for a running back, young, super fast, super quick. So you love to see it. He really hasn't done a whole lot with the opportunities he got. He only got 249 rushing yards last year. I don't think he was ever much hurt, and he wasn't out for a very long time. But you can see he just didn't get a lot of work here. He had 2 and 5, and then I think this might have been when Achane was dinged up. Actually, 13 carries for 86 is not bad, not bad. As we scroll down a little bit, kind of, I don't know what you call it concerning. I guess there were a few games here where maybe this one he sat out. He never got a ton of work, though. It's just a little bit disappointing. Almost no receptions to speak of. But, man, his measurables and things along those lines, if the quarterback can stay healthy there, Tua, if Achane, maybe they decide they don't want to run him absolutely into the ground, maybe he does get dinged up, maybe he does get hurt or something. I wouldn't predict that for him, but, if he does. Jaylen Wright, behind him, they drafted like an Ollie Gordon guy in like the 5th round or 6th round or something like that, or maybe in the 7th. I don't remember when they drafted that Ollie Gordon guy. But Jaylen Wright could be set up to be another one of those league winners getting huge points. DJ Moore, here's one that I didn't even actually realize I had so much of. Now, I'm not a huge Chicago fan or anything. I'm not a huge DJ Moore fan. Why do I have 24% of him right there? So for DJ Moore, let me go ahead and pick him up real quick here. In the player profiler, he's had some good seasons. Really, most of his best seasons were with Justin Fields back in the day. This was coming out of college. It's been like 8 years ago or whatever, but it's a good baseline for where he started off. Really, really athletic, really, really good. Actually, not the largest wide receiver by any means, but he's definitely had times when he put it together. Now, they got Ben Johnson, who really, really revitalized, the Lions, helping with Dan Campbell calling the plays and stuff like that. But Amon-Ra absolutely just blowing it up. Jamison Williams, who's super fast, but he kind of had some off the field issues and stuff. We got him back into the fold for the Lions. I am a Lions fan. I will just show that to you up front. So I think DJ Moore could be the Amon-Ra St. Brown type of role. He's not necessarily always going deep, but he'll be inside in the slot or running the posts and things like that. But DJ Moore could just be all over the field, just really all over the field. He's had some, pretty all right seasons. He was wide receiver 14 down here, wide receiver 9 right here. Last year was 26. So that's kind of the thing too. At the point you're taking him, I feel anyways, his floor is pretty much right where you're taking him at right there. If we go ahead and look at these best ball ADPs here over on Fantasy Pros, I kind of meant to pull this up for some of the other ones, but it's no big deal. We're looking at DJ Moore here. I feel like he's actually like moved up a little bit. There's Rome, and DJ Moore is going to be a little bit way up here. He's right behind Xavier Worthy. As for other receivers, I am full off of DK Metcalf. Williams, I would like. Pickens. Cortland Sutton used to be way down in like the 80s, which is pretty crazy. He used to be way down here. So I was actually getting a bunch of Cortland Sutton, but now he's moved up so far, not as much. But where he's at, his floor is so solid here at 42. But even before that, he was further down. That's why I ended up kind of getting such a massive percentage here of DJ Moore. I haven't got him as much lately. But we go ahead and down and look at the game logs real quick here for last season. It was kind of a tough go. 40, 30, a lot of these scores, not the greatest. But you can see down here a little bit further down in the season, 4th, 7th, here's the 6th. So it is there. And you know how bad the coaching was last year for Chicago, just absolutely abysmal. Couldn't help but laugh my head off when the Detroit played them and they just squandered away like the last 35 seconds, didn't even get a playoff when they could have kicked a field goal and tied the game. So the coaching is going to be so much better. And I cannot believe that they're not going to use their absolute superstar here in DJ Moore. Maybe he's not Jamar Chase, of course, you know what I'm saying, but he is a bona fide, in my opinion, should be number 1 there. He's got a lot of supporting cast, a lot of other receivers that can kind of like take pressure off of him, whether they actually do get anything out of Rome. He was pretty much of a bust last year. I kind of kept track. I had him on some fantasy teams, so I kind of know what happened with Rome. They got Loveland. Hopefully Caleb's taken a step forward. So DJ Moore, I got a lot of because he was a little bit later. And even now I'm taking him once in a while, around the average amount of percentage because I think he's really moderately priced for where he's at. I think he is pretty much right at his floor. Taking a look at the next one down here. Tyler Allgeier, another one that I didn't think I had as much of. That's why it's good to look at this stuff. Tyler Allgeier, most people know him as backing up Bijan Robinson. Doesn't have the best measurables, not like Isaac Guerendo, not like Jaylen Wright, but this guy is the no-doubter backup to Bijan Robinson, one of the top 3 running backs in the league going drafted this year. And a lot of people say he should be number 1. But if anything happens to him, Tyler Allgeier is waiting in the wings to be the no-doubter, absolute bell cow behind him. Now, the craziest thing, it's just crazy. 10 points per game here. His first year, he was splitting carries with like Cordell Patterson or something. I'm just cracking up because, man, I hate Arthur Smith so much. But even with Bijan there, he's still getting 8 points per game. The team just cracks you up. But everybody, sometimes you just don't know what coaches think or whatever. Coaches just seem to like this guy. He just does the right things. They just want to use him, even though he's generally pretty inefficient. This must be 18 carries for 108 yards. Maybe that was a game Bijan was out. I don't remember every game exactly, but a lot of these games, 11 carries, 9 carries, 9 carries, 8 carries, 11 carries, 12 carries, 8 carries, 9 carries. Like, look at these red zone carries. They're 8 red zone carries. Like, they must have been just blowing him out, so they must have rode him a lot. But he's getting red zone carries left and right. Now, as for are they transitioning into touchdowns? Maybe not so much. So hopefully, actually, they don't give him all that work. But you can see the coaching staff always liked him, used him a lot. I know things are different, things are changing, things are in flux. They got Michael Penix, and hopefully they're riding Bijan till the end of time because I have him on my fantasy team for a keeper league. But Tyler Allgeier, in general, I believe, is one of those guys later in the draft that if something happens, he's going to get a little bit of work. He could fall in for a touchdown here and there, plays in the blowouts. But also, if anything happens to Bijan Robinson, this guy could win you your league. So just for one last quick look here, these are the percentages, very high. But Guerendo, love. Wright, love. DJ Moore, the floor is so just clutch, and you could have spike weeks. I don't feel there's any way he could be under where his ADP is at, to be perfectly honest. So that's the percentages I got right there. Hey, let me know who you're standing for this year in Underdog Fantasy drafts. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and good luck on your fantasy season.